We left the apartment at 5:30 a.m. and began the several-hour journey from Tokyo to Tohoku, the disaster area. We navigated the subway system and arrived just in time to board the bullet train. As we sped north, I tried to prepare myself for what I would see.
Tragic news, 88,000
Even though I had
people
followed
missing
the
in
disaster
earthquake.
from the day it happened, nothing could prepare me for actually being there. Even 6 months after the disaster, there was still debris everywhere. There were rusted cars and ditches miles from the coast. Nothing left but foundations in some places. I'd be walking through debris and look down and see linoleum and pieces of tile and realize that I was walking through someone's kitchen. The hardest to deal with were the personal items, the pictures, the shoes, the dolls. It was hard to believe that water could hit with such force and do so much damage. The day before, we had interviewed Reverend Takao Nakadai, a pastor from Tokyo, who had been very involved in relief efforts.
Japan has always been a land of earthquakes, but the big ones only happen once in 100 years, so people were unprepared. This earthquake reminded us that suddenly everything could change.
You could see evidence of their disaster precautions, broken bits of the tsunami wall scattered around. The town sounded warnings and had evacuation sites, but no one expected the water to come so high, so fast.
Many people in the Tohoku area have never heard about Christianity and have never even met Christians. The relief work was their first chance to meet with them and interact with them, showing them that Christians are good people. The starting point is for people to see how great Christianity is. And then, after 10 years, if we take these opportunities now, there may be a great harvest.
Walking around, we did see evidence of progress. Many broken structures had already been torn down to the foundations. Truck after truck added their loads to a pile of garbage that was over 3 stories tall and a football field long. The Japanese people are resilient, not asking why, just getting to work. The frame of one damaged structure was intentionally left standing. The red steel twisted from the force of the water. Because of what happened here, this building has become a place of pilgrimage. A woman in her 20s, Miki Endo, worked here in the disaster prevention department. She stayed at her post, determined to warn as many people as possible. When the wave hit, she was swept away. She is credited as saving 7,000 lives. Many Japanese come here to leave an offering or light a candle, inspired by her sacrifice, so that others might live. Sen Japan director Paul Suzuki was our guide for this strange tour. That afternoon, we found a quiet spot under the blue sky and set up an interview with him to learn more about what was happening here.
When the disaster first happened, many of our missionaries were coming up here, up north, bringing supplies, different kinds of food, just whatever the people here needed. We're going to come alongside of existing ministries, pastors, people that have already been here on the ground and have the relationships with people here. We want to assist them in their work and resource them for what they do.
Nearly every Sen Japan missionary has been involved in the work, from organizing relief efforts, cleaning out homes, visiting evacuees, sending disaster area kids to camp, listening to stories of loss, and helping people rebuild and find hope. And the work continues. In fact, it will take years to get back any semblance of normal life. In some places, there's a 2-year moratorium on building while plans are drawn up. Some say the nuclear situation is stable, but cleanup may take more than 30 years.
People here need prayer. They need the gospel in their lives.
This time in Japan's history reminded both Reverend Nakadai and Paul of the end of World War II, when many Japanese struggled to survive. But occupation force GIs partnered with missionaries who had stayed through the war to meet needs and offer the gospel. Out of that came a mission organization, Send International.
We have many of the same ingredients. We have people that are in need, people that are hurting, people that are hungering right now. We have veteran missionaries, people that do have the language and culture. We also have people that are coming from abroad who are providing the passion and the energy. And I'm really hoping and praying that when these factors come together again, that God is going to do a new thing and a new work in this country.
I held on to that thought as we drove away. Already new and exciting things are happening. At the invitation of local pastors, Send has launched a church planting team to Tohoku. They're excited to get started, and they're going to need more help. I thought of Mickey calling out the tsunami warning. Most likely she didn't know God. Will there be people who do know God, willing to give up everything so that the Japanese people might have eternal life?